Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom is making the rounds on the global stage, fueling rumors about a possible 2028 presidential run. Over the past few days, Newsom has met with allies across Europe, projecting himself as a counter to President Trump. But as Newsom rubs shoulders with world leaders abroad, he faces challenges back here at home. MS Now reporter Nick McCool has more.
Donald Trump is doubling down on stupid.
As speculation grows about Gavin Newsom's 2028 ambitions, the Golden State governor has been stepping out on the world stage.
Donald Trump is temporary. He'll be gone in 3 years. California is a stable and reliable partner in this space.
Those comments on a climate panel at the Munich Security Conference, some of the latest swipes Newsom has taken at President Trump in front of America's allies.
I watched Gavin Newsom answering questions in Munich, and this was a bad look for our country.
Just weeks ago, Newsom making these memorable comments at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders.
Newsom signing a clean energy pact with the UK Monday that also drew a rebuke from Trump. Democratic strategist Basil Smikle says Newsom's bolstering his foreign policy credentials, but not without risk.
The challenge for Gavin Newsom is, how do you assure the rest of the world that you're going to be there for them when you're outside of the state whose voters you promised you would be there for?
But in this latest international push, Smikle sees echoes of another prominent Democrat, too.
Barack Obama in 2008, during his campaign, he did a European tour, a very famous speech in Germany, and was lauded for the kind of language that he used and the way that he tried to bring the world together in a post-Bush, post-financial collapse environment.
As Democrats look for their next standard bearer, Newsom has raised his national profile by taking on the president. His press office has imitated Trump's all-cap style and memes on social media. He's championed a redistricting of California's congressional seats to benefit Democrats after Trump pushed Texas Republicans to do the same.
After poking the bear, this bear roared with an unprecedented turnout in a special election with an extraordinary result.
But Newsom has also faced criticism over the cost of living in California, a homelessness crisis that has gripped cities in his state, and his attendance at a COVID-era dinner at a luxury restaurant, which he later called a bad mistake. But despite that...
Yes, I think he'd make a great president.
This week, Axios reporting that House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi has become increasingly vocal about her support for his possible candidacy for the White House. And we reached out to the offices of both Pelosi and Newsom for comment. We have not yet heard back. And we should note, after his visits across Europe, Governor Newsom is scheduled to make a stop next week in South Carolina, which historically has been an early presidential primary state. Back to you.
MS Now Nick McCool with that report. He's really been in sort of like the street fighting, the answer to Trump on social media and, you know, in his speeches, in his approach. Rev, do you think that he's on his way to being a major contender in 28?
The question is that we are sitting here in February 26.
Right.
Does he peak too early? Does he run out of steam with voters? Does he make the right alliances across the Democratic coalition that don't know him one-on-one? I think he has certainly come out of the gate very attractive. I think he certainly has some recognition. But now will he be able to build an infrastructure and organization around the country that make that real? Or will somebody come in a little later and just go to the top? I think of 92, where Bill Clinton came out of nowhere and surprised everybody.
Right.
And was just a good politician.
He was a good politician, but he held his fire to the right time, and he came out. And sometimes, you know, if I use a boxing analogy, sometimes you go for the knockout in the first or second round, but sometimes you lay back and rope-a-dope and come in the later rounds, and we see what strategy he's using.
I think there are a lot of challenges, but he does have a lot. His wife is fabulous, and literally that's important and a part of it. But also, he's really shown himself to be nimble. And
I was just going to say agile. Yeah.
Agile. And you know what? Willing to take risks, willing to put himself out there and try things, to punch back in ways that break through. And often I think Democrats trip over themselves when they're being so careful and they're worried about, insulting every little person out there to the point where they can't talk. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know exactly.
It hurts.
It's painful to listen to. It's painful to watch that all go down. Mm-hmm. I think he's a really smart guy. He's a very talented guy. He's a very agile guy.
Yeah.
I think the question for him, and I think there'll probably be a couple of lanes in maybe 2 or 3 lanes in the Democratic presidential primary in 2028. There'll be people like Newsom who were very good at taking Trump on, and I love what he's doing. I love that he went to Europe and said, "What are you guys doing? Giving this guy awards? What are you doing? You should be standing up to him." And has been very, and he's great on social media and all of that. I think the question is that what Democratic primary voters are going to want in 2028?
We'll see.
Are they going to want somebody who's a Trump fighter? Or are they going to want somebody that is kind of focused on getting things done and making democracy work and delivering results? Also, we don't know how Gavin Newsom will present himself in 2028. He may also evolve. Like we said, he's agile.
Yeah. Okay. We'll follow that.